Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Kiyan.
And this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast with living drugs. Because this week we watched Nightmare of Eden.
Written by Bob Baker. And, yeah, just Bob Baker.
Directed by Alan Bromley.
And aired in November and December of 1979.
Hey, next week we'll be in the 80s.
Finally. No, I don't know. But right, this is the first serial after the Bob Baker / Dave Martin split.
Yeah, I think they had a falling out of some sort. I also think it's the only serial that Bob Baker writes by himself.
Until 2010. I just read that.
Huh. Did he?
He wrote something in 2010.
He did?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mind Snap.
Doesn't sound like a TV episode. It was probably some webisode.
Maybe it was one of the cartoon things, the 3-minute ones or whatever they are. Anyway, yeah, I guess there's a bit of controversy surrounding
the production of this serial?
Well, yeah, and Bob Baker and Dave Martin's quote-unquote falling out. But I don't know too much about that, to be perfectly honest. So
neither do I. But I know about behind the scenes of the serial, where Graham Williams fired Alan Bromley halfway through filming the serial because he just didn't know how to direct a serial, apparently. Then Williams stepped in himself and finished it up. Apparently it's the only known instance of a producer stepping in to finish the directing when they fire the director. On the show, at least.
The only known instance.
On this show, at least. So, yeah. Long and troubled history leading to this serial.
So it starts off incomprehensibly, and that incomprehensibleness continues for the entire thing. Still a pretty good story, but yeah, it starts off with a passenger space flight.
Yeah, like a cruise liner, I guess.
Yeah, but they all have to wear hazmat suits. No, it's actually just the Ghostbusters uniform.
It's the real radiation experience. They just pump radiation into the passenger cabin. So they're all kind of having a good time.
Having a good time getting delayed.
The second in command on the ship is just tripping balls, I guess.
He's I guess he was one of the escaped slaves from
What, the mutants?
No, God, what was it? Right at the first season of this serial.
The first season of this?
The first serial of this season. The blank of the Daleks that I'm blanking on. Destiny of the Daleks. I guess he was one of the escaped slaves because in the face of disaster, he just smiles.
They're kind of just traveling through space and all of a sudden, I guess they collide with another ship. They materialize inside this other ship.
Yeah, that's the whole... One of the many problems they have to solve, actually, is that the ships are, materialized within one another.
Yeah.
And that happens now, but the one, the pilot / captain / whoever he is like, oh no, this is a major problem. And the co-pilot is just like, yeah, who cares?
Then we cut to the Doctor and Romana in the TARDIS, and they're like, okay, and they just land and they get out. They're like, hey, we're on a spaceship. Remember the first time we landed on a spaceship and they were all confused because the TARDIS was like, hey, we're moving, but we're not actually moving. Now they just don't care about that plot that they introduced.
Or no one remembers it. I mean, I didn't even remember it.
Well, they're on the spaceship and they get out and they're like, well, let's go find out what's going on, I guess.
Yeah, this part seemed to move really fast. Usually they take a while to introduce themselves, but here they just show up and they're like, well, hello, Doctor.
Yeah, because the two captains of the ships are arguing in the bridge of the first ship.
Your ship materialized in my ship. No, your ship materialized in my ship. No, they're not saying that.
I mean, they're basically saying...
They're trying to decide whose fault it is.
And the Doctor comes in.
This is the first of many instances where Romana looks like she doesn't have any arms. Because Lalla Ward is wearing what you describe as a potato sack.
It's a painted potato sack. They painted it gray and put some red trim on it and called it a day. The laziest costuming so far.
Well, her sleeves come down just over her elbows, I guess. So and when she clasps her arms or puts her arms behind her back, it looks like she has no arms.
Yeah.
So pretty funny.
Maybe she doesn't have arms. Maybe those arms we're seeing are just us hallucinating.
It's just someone behind her at all times, sticking their arms out. Jeez.
So, the doctor walks in and he pretends he's from some salvage corporation, I guess. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna salvage your ships. And they're like, we have passengers. The other guy's got cargo he needs to deliver, and now he's delayed. Apparently you find out the guy with the cargo ship was, well, both of them were off course, but the guy in the cargo ship didn't even have clearance to be in, like, the sector or something.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was kind of confusing. I didn't get whether Trist and Co. were supposed to be on the passenger ship or on the other ship.
No, I think they're on the passenger ship. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that would make sense based on what we find out later. Anyway.
The doctor meets this guy named Trist, who, well, Romana meets him first, actually, because the doctor's still talking with the captains, and Romana just kind of wanders off. She's like, I'm out.
Yeah, he's a scientist who I guess has developed the precursor to the machine in Carnival of Monsters. Actually, come to think of it, it's just as sketchy as the one that the carnies use.
Well, it's even more sketchy because it's apparently unstable and just can phase you into other dimensions, apparently. But he's got all these, like, surveys from other planets, I guess, stored on these microcrystals that he puts in the machine, and then it displays it on the wall.
Yeah, he's German, right? Something like
I
that.
think?
Yeah.
I was too distracted by those square, well, not even square, rectangular glasses he was wearing. That seemed too small for his face.
And he has an assistant named, what was her name?
Della. She's not really that important till later. Like, way later.
Until she explains the backstory.
Yeah, and then she just becomes redundant at that point.
Well, she kind of explains the backstory here. She and Trist, they were on their expedition to Eden when Stott, their other companion, died.
Yeah, he dies
Violently.
on Eden.
Yeah. Killed by the local
Or so
wildlife.
they think.
Or so they think.
Right, so the doctor's trying to work out how to separate the ships, because that's just his job now.
Well, he says he doesn't work for anybody.
Well, he claims to work for the
captain's like-
salvage corporation first. And the captain's like, hey, that salvage corporation, like, folded 20 years ago. And the doctor's like, oh, that would explain why I haven't been paid. But, so he's working on separating the ship when the second in command, Sekka, goes off to find more drugs, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't actually explain, but he was high out of his mind on...
We did say he was tripping balls.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, we didn't explain on what, but, yeah, it's actually Vrax.
Not
It's
to be
actually
confused
Drax.
with Drax.
I wish Drax showed up, but no, it's Vrax, which is a fungus, not hallucinogenic.
Or possibly not a fungus, might just be the corpse.
Yeah, it might just be an animal corpse. We really don't know.
Baker.
Were they mules? Were they living fungus? I don't know. I mean, fungus are alive, but yeah, that's not the point. Vrax goes off to do some Sekka. No.
Sekka sounds like it could be a drug too, actually.
Yeah. Well, Vrax, or short for Vraxion, was originally called, what was it, xylophyllin? Zip. But then they thought that would be too appealing to kids. So.
Yeah, like speed isn't appealing.
What does that have to do with anything?
Speed is a drug. It's an actual drug.
Yeah, I know, but there wasn't
I guess that's
in
what they were
this
going
cereal.
for with Zip Speed.
No, I really don't
I really think it is.
No.
Well, Sekka's gone off to look for some drugs and he gets attacked and he doesn't die immediately, but he dies in the medical bay later after the doctor and the captain
Find him.
Diamond. Find him. Take him to the medical
Yeah, and the
bay.
doctor also finds the drugs, the Vrax, which has apparently destroyed multiple planets.
Yeah, apparently, because the drug doesn't, like, make you trip or anything. It just makes you completely apathetic towards life. and everything in life. You just stop caring, apparently.
Well, I thought it just caused wars over accessibility. And
Well, I thought the doctor also mentioned that, like, if you take too much of it, you become so apathetic, you just die. Then it can just kill you.
yeah, I guess it's a combination of those things, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And at that point,
Well, the doctor's plan for separating the ship requires K9 to cut a hole in a wall.
for whatever
some
reason,
reason.
I guess the only reason was to reveal the creature of the week.
The creature from the pit?
Yeah, no. Yeah, so K9 cuts this hole in the wall, and a gorilla pops out.
This Muppet pop sounds like, what's up?
It's Kermit, no.
No, it's like a... Yeah, it looks like a gorilla with big green eyes.
It's like a cross between a gorilla and like a fish.
What?
And it's like... Except not really. And into episode 2, K9 just blasts it a couple times and it retreats. And the captain's like, what the heck was that? And the doctor's like, don't know, but we should probably seal this hole back up.
So they do that. Yeah, they seal the hole in the wall and they just go wonder about the ship some more. The doctor goes back to talk with Tristan's like, hey, so what actually were you doing with all these monsters? And it's like, oh, just storing them. It's when the doctor finds out that the machine doesn't have like a dimensional stabilizer or whatever technobabble they came up for.
It was like a dimensional osmosis oscillator or something like that.
The doctor's like, well, that's pretty primitive and you should probably build one of those, so I suggest you turn it off for the rest of the time.
Tristan's like, okay, doctor, I'll definitely turn it off.
Yep.
Obviously doesn't turn it off.
Yeah. So the doctor and K9 are still trying to separate the ship, so the doctor sends K9 down to one of these unstable portions. So I guess where the two ships are like joined, there's like an unstable phase between them because one of them phased
it's
inside
like
the other
the
one.
crossover between the two ships, I guess, is where it's unstable.
It's the barrier that divides one universe from another. So K9 goes in, the doctor's like, and then this guy comes out, and the doctor's like, okay. So he chases the guy down because he thinks the guy's probably involved with the drug smuggling, which he is, but not in the way you think.
This is one of the passengers, by the way. You can tell because he's wearing the sparkly suit.
He's wearing tinfoil.
All the costumes in this serial had like sequins on them.
Except Romana's.
Yeah. Well, the doctor follows him down a flight of stairs with this dramatic music playing. I don't know, did you notice the music a lot more in this serial than you had previously? Because I did.
Not really. I mean, not any more than I did in City of Death when we didn't mention it in the episode.
I don't know, I noticed more of the music here, but yeah, the doctor races down these flights of stairs, and there's this humorous scene where he's going through the cabins, talking to the passengers, assuring them that all is well.
It's very clearly the same set. I think they chose those passenger costumes because they could conveniently use the same extras for every cabin on the ship, and no one would know because you can't see their face. But then the doctor goes into the unstable portion. There's these weird visual effects.
Yeah, he offers one of the passengers a jelly baby. Don't forget one of the most important plot points of the serial.
Well, it's not even an offering. He just gives it to him and is like, here's a jelly baby, enjoy.
Yeah, he forcibly offers it. He offers it, but they really don't have a choice.
Yeah. Well,
No, I don't know. But
he
yeah,
goes into
then
the unstable portion.
He goes into this weird, trippy, Rax-induced... No.
I mean, it feels like it. Because everything kind of slows down. Frame rate drops.
It's like a rainbow strobe light effect.
It's like that effect in The Mutants when the doctor goes into the cave of radiation and he just turns rainbow colored.
And yeah, then they come out.
Decent special effects.
Yeah, we also didn't mention the shot of the ships colliding, quote unquote.
Colliding.
Decent 1979 special effects.
For the much lower budget they're working on this season, apparently.
We also forgot to mention that someone slips Vrax into
The captain.
the captain's drink.
Yeah.
Well, Romana turns on the machine to look at Eden, which is this forested, dark-looking planet, and she kind of passes out.
Yeah, it looks. There's this little light effect, and it looks like she gets pricked on the neck by something. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna come into play. She's gonna be like mind controlled or something. No, she just collapses.
So Della comes in, sees her collapse, so she's like, oh, I'll get you something to drink, some medicine or something. And as she's pouring it, the captain shows up, and you see a hand slip some Vrax into the drink, and you're like, is it the captain? But no, it's not, because the captain is also feeling unwell, so he takes the medicine and starts...
Rig. Apparently the captain's name is Rig.
Well, he stops caring about everything, about life, and yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I'm over this. And so
who slipped him the Vrax?
So Trist and the doctor are having some more discussions because, the scientist and stuff. And Trist is like, oh yeah, so Della's totally in on the drug smuggling, man. Because like Sekka...
Yeah, there's this scene where Trist...
Stott.
The scene where Trist is like, I think Stott are... Stott are... I think Stott might have been involved with the drug smuggling. Now, if he were, he would have had an assistant. Do you know anything about that? And she's like, are you trying to incriminate me? He's like, no, of course not.
Well, there was like the heavily implied romance between Della and Stott, so...
No, it wasn't heavily implied. It was just flat out stated, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think she ever said like, oh, I loved him, but I think she was like, oh yeah, I kind of miss him. We were pretty close. I think that was the closest she got to admitting that there was a thing.
I don't know about that.
I do know. I was there.
You were there in 2089 or whatever this takes place.
So the Doctor and Romana go back to the bridge because while this is all going on, they're still trying to separate the two ships.
Right.
And on the bridge, somehow, I don't know who alerted them, who called them there, but these, I guess, drug authorities, like the space DEA, I guess.
Yeah, they were the excise dudes.
Yeah, they show up.
Who also had sequined
black
outfits.
uniforms.
Yeah.
So they accuse the Doctor and Romana of being in on the smuggling because they find traces of Vrax in the Doctor's pockets. Because if you remember, you picked up that Vrax back in episode 1.
The Doctor's like, oh, shoot. But then he uses the oldest trick in the book.
Which is, oh, look, something's happening. And they run away. Into Eden.
Yeah.
That's how episode 2 ends, or how I assume it ends.
Yeah, no, that's how it ended. Well.
Okay, so episode 3 begins with them running into Eden. And so Romana's like, so what are we doing? The Doc's like, so I removed the dimensional interface stabilizer, so now we can just walk in and out of the dimension. And Romana's like, oh, so things can get out too. And he's like, yeah, but they've already been getting out anyway, so...
So the Doctor is captured by a man-eating plant and is promptly freed.
Well, he's... No, you're missing the best bit. He's freed because he bites the plant's tail.
It was a root. Plants don't have tails.
I thought it was like a snake.
No, it was a root.
Well, he bites it and he's like, pretty tasty.
It sprays this green fluid all over the place. But anyway, then they're assaulted by a mandrill.
But they get rescued by Stott.
Who they find out is alive, obviously.
Yeah. Not only that, he reveals that he's like a drug agent and he's looking for who's smuggling these drugs too.
Yeah. And, I guess, obvious. If you didn't already guess, it's Trist. I mean...
I hadn't guessed at this point.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it coming at all. And I'll just say, when, his German accent made me assume a lot of things about him. But But stupidly enough, not that he was going to be the villain.
Hey, German accents don't mean you have to be the villain.
Yeah, well, no, they usually do.
I guess the Nazis just gave the German accent a bad rap.
Yeah, they did.
Well, Stott reveals that there's like a small shimmer at the edge of the projection, and he's been getting in and out of Eden onto the ship, which I think is called the Volante.
What? The Volante? Where are you getting this?
From the one line in the serial where they said it, because it's the Empress, there's
it's
the Empress, there's the Hecate, and there's the Volante. I don't know which is which. One of them is the small ship they used to get away with in the end, where they try to get away with.
I'm pretty sure the Empress is the big passenger ship. Pretty sure. Not that it really matters, but Stott says he's been getting out, and they're like, oh, well, why haven't you revealed to Della and Trist that you were able to escape and they were alive? And he's like, well, I still need to investigate who's smuggling the drugs, and it's probably Trist, so.
And then Doctor's like, yeah, well, I think the manuals have been getting out too, and Stott's like, oh, oops.
Yeah, and meanwhile, back on the ship, the mandrels are killing the passengers, and the two government agents are doing nothing to stop it because they want a promotion. So typical behavior there.
It's like there's just this massacre going on down in the passenger hold, and these guys are just like chilling in the bridge, like, oh, we're totally safe up here.
Doing
like,
some racks. No.
They're just watching on the screen, like, oh, look. All the passengers are dying. That plot thread never actually gets resolved. We never really find out how many passengers the Mandrels kill. Could be all of them for all we know.
Well, it was 12 at one point, because they say 12 casualties and like 29 injured, but then they kill more passengers, so we really don't know the total number.
At the end of the cruise, they're going to have to go to these people's families and be like, oh, sorry, they got killed by alien space creatures that got smuggled onto the cruise by some crazy German scientist.
They're probably going to cover it up somehow. Anyway,
it's terrible.
Someone, I think it might have been Trist, but he hints that the Doctor escaped into Eden, and the agents and some more of the crew members run into the room where they're keeping the dimensional portal or whatever. And I just love the look on the one guy's face. He runs in, looks into Eden. He's like, he has this look on his face like, nope, not going in there. So he turns around and he's like, come out wherever you are, Doctor.
Yeah. But they don't figure out to go into Eden yet until episode 4, because the Doctor and Amon have actually escaped Eden at this point, but there's a locked door in the room.
Their rationale behind not going into the projection is that if the Doctor went in, he's going to have to come out, but they don't know that there are multiple ways to get out of the projection.
Yeah. Apparently the projection is just, I guess, superimposed on top of the ship at that point, so they can exit the projection in any direction after the Doctor removed the dimensional thing.
Bob Baker. Just kidding, I actually liked this.
This is even more techno-babble than usual. But they find a locked door in the room. They end up having Trist unlocking it. And I just want to point out that it was really obvious that when they run out that locked door into the supposed first-class restroom, it's like really obvious that it's just a continuation of the other corridor in the other door because of the way they constructed the set.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Doctor is free. He sets up this whole big elaborate plan to free the two ships, so they start putting it in motion. Romana's gone to the bridge because she needs to push some certain button at exactly 2025.
Yeah, the button. The plan involves pressing a button, like cutting a wire and doing something else all at exactly the same time, or something dumb like that.
I don't know.
I did like when they zoomed in really close on the clock and it said 2016. And I was like, they knew. No, I don't know.
Not really, because I just counted up all the numbers from 2016 to 2025.
Yeah, but it like really focused on 2016, which obviously is the year in which we're watching this, so.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be like this, man.
No.
It's more than a coincidence.
No, I think it's a coincidence. So, they execute the plan.
And they execute the captain when he tries to attack Romana because he thinks she's one of the drug smugglers. So he's like, I just need another one, man. I just need some more racks. Come on, just give me some more racks. I'll pay you. And then one of the excise dudes comes in and kills him.
Yeah. So he's
And
dead.
then he tells Romana not to press the button or he'll shoot, and she's like, "Ha, gonna press it anyway."
Well, because the reasoning is that the guy's gonna execute her anyway, so she may as well push the button.
Yeah, I mean, but she had this like smug look on her face where she's
Probably
like,
because she
"Gonna
knows he's
press it
not gonna
anyway."
shoot her.
I don't know why he didn't just shoot her. He seemed to have no problem shooting the captain. I mean, he
Maybe
didn't.
because Romana's a pretty lady. Maybe he's trying to. He's also trying to get some facts. Well, because at this point he still believes that the Doctor and Romana are the drug smugglers, and that's why he's going to shoot her. I don't think we mentioned that plot point, but there's
Well, no, we
they
did.
issued a command to shoot the Doctor and Romana if they resist arrest.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why he didn't just shoot her, but it's really not important.
Wanted some facts. So, the plan works. It separates the ships. The other captain's like, sick, all right, I'm out, peace. And the excise dude is like, no, you didn't have a permit to be in this zone, so I'm going to call you as a witness for this drug smuggling, because if you leave now, I'm just going to put you on trial for not having a permit.
And
Basically blackmails a guy.
The least that'll happen to him is a considerable fine.
Well, considering you find out later he's
Well,
probably
actually,
making,
find that
he's
out
probably
right
making
now.
bank on this drug
Well, no, he's
smuggling.
making like 9,800,000,000 galactic credits or something.
So that fine is probably nothing. He should have just gone, to be honest. Like, I'll take the fine, bye.
Actually, if he just took the probably negligible fine, he would have been A-okay. He and Trist would have made it
Sailed
out
off
of
into
there.
the sunset. On the drug money funded empire. The drug empire. Yeah. If we hadn't said it already,
Empire, no.
Trist and the other captain, not the captain of the Empress, the other one, they're the two guys doing the drug smuggling.
Yeah. And I don't remember how the Doctor figures this out, but he convinces Della... Or
He figures it out because I think, doesn't Stott or Della just outright say, oh yeah, it's Trist?
It must have been Stott.
Yeah. Because I think at this point Stott's like, oh yeah, it's Trist. And they're like, oh shoot.
We should try and prove that. And then they tell Della that Stott's still alive, and she gets in on the plan too.
Then they tell the excise dudes that it's Trist who's smuggling the drugs, and they're like, oh, okay. There's also a humorous scene with the Doctor, Romana, and Eden, and Trist is like, hey, you should just go into the portrait and get him. And the one excise dude turns to the other one and is like, you heard the man, just go in there and grab him. And he's like, yeah, no.
So the captain of the smaller ship is, I guess, making his way over to the Empress, the bigger ship, but the Doctor is stowed away because I guess the Doctor was on the other side of the barrier.
At the end of 3, when they activated the plan, the Doctor like phased into the mystery portion.
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, he's been phased into the unstable portion. So and he doesn't show up till late into episode 4. He has this weird acting, quote unquote acting, where he's like, "Where am I? What's going on?" K9's like, "Cannot locate the Doctor." K9's voice in the serial actually sounded closer to John Leeson's than it did last week.
We're just getting used to it.
No, I actually think it was less, what's the word I'm looking for? Less cartoony, I guess. Like last week it sounded like David Brierley put a lot of personality into K9, and it seems like this week he kind of toned it down a bit.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't notice anything different. But hey, only 2 more weeks of it, so...
Well,
There
1
you
and a
go.
half. I think John Leeson voices the reconstructed portions of Shada, which might be weird.
Well,
I
that's
guess we'll
gonna be
find
weird.
out. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, K9's like cannot locate the Doctor.
But I forget exactly what they do to prove that Trist and What's-His-Face are the smugglers.
They probably just catch him with the drugs. They kind of, I guess they grant the Doctor a temporary pardon because he separated the ships. The Doctor wakes up and he finds this DMAT gun, I guess. Wait, no. Actually, the Doctor actually refers to something in this serial as like the DMAT machine to K9, like at the end of episode 2, I think, because he tells K9 to go like guard the DMAT machine.
Yeah, but it wasn't the DMAT gun.
It might be.
Maybe, I don't know. That gun that no one's ever supposed to make, use, or even talk about.
Yeah, so the doctor finds this gun, and he's like, oh, I guess it's Trist. Stott also independently tells him that it's Trist. The doctor's like, yeah, he's got a gun on his ship. So they're like, oh.
Wait, on his ship? Wasn't he on the Empress?
I think he has his own small little ship because they try to escape in it at the end. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a third ship that they used to try escape in.
I thought that was just like an escape pod
No,
or something.
Pretty sure that was like Trist's ship.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. Diamond is the captain of the other ship who's in on the drug smuggling. So the doctor and Romana decide to work with the little the Carnival of Monsters machine. Because they realize they can capture Trist and Diamond that way.
I'm actually blanking on what it was called. Was it the ECT machine? Something like
CET.
that? CET, yeah.
So he tells Romana she needs to rebuild the machine in the next, 20 minutes. And he's like,
No,
what?
it was 2 minutes and 9 seconds or something
She's
like
like,
that.
I'll need a screwdriver. And the doc's like, he just
They
smiles.
just smile at each other.
So they get that all working, and the DEA is still looking for Trist and Diamond. Because they're the fugitives at large at this point, and they're running around to their own ship. And they're making an escape. They're like, haha, you'll never get us alive.
Coppers? No.
But the Romana and the doctor hook the CET up to K9. They do some techno babble, and they capture the entire ship onto a little microcrystal.
Yeah, that part was pretty funny. It was a fitting end to their criminal career.
Forgot to mention my favorite scene when they lead, so before they do that, they actually lead all the Mandrills back into the Eden projection.
Yeah.
So the doctor leads them by Pied Pipering it up with his dog whistle. He leads them into the...
And they're shooting them in the back to make sure they keep walking. Which
there's
was weird
casualties
because,
on both sides.
well, see, the guns that they were using to kill the mandrills are now not killing the mandrills, so I don't know, maybe they're just set
Maybe they're
to
stunned.
zap. I don't know.
We also forgot to mention that the Mandrills are the drug. The Mandrills are Verax.
The mandrills are the drugs. That's why we were like, what are the drugs? A fungus? Or are they an animal that turns into it? Well, they specifically state that Vrax is a fungus. But here,
Yeah, but they also specifically state that when they die, they turn into Verax. So.
Yeah, so I was like, are they just mules for the Vrax? Or what's going on here? Oh, well.
So the doctor leads them into the projection, and then we have some more brilliant Tom Baker acting.
Yeah, this.
Where he's off screen, and it's just the camera's just pointed at the Eden set, and you just hear the doctor yell, my arm, my leg.
Well, this is supposed to be the doctor acting, not Tom Baker acting, so it's understandably
awful,
purposefully awful, whatever you want to say.
I don't think he was supposed to be acting, though, because he comes out and his coat is all torn up.
I know, he was supposed to be trying to, convince them that he was dying, but he was, doing a really bad job of it.
I thought he was because then the Mandrill pops out and is like, because he's, about to get killed by the actual Mandrill that pops out right at the end, and that's why he runs out at the end. I'm pretty sure he was actually supposed to be being attacked. That's why his coat gets torn up, and that's why he only has the lapels.
I don't know, I thought it was also part of some sort of act, but...
I don't think so.
I don't know.
But yeah, so they capture Tristan Diamond in the projection. They're like, you could just go in there and pluck him out. Go in there and pluck him out. And they arrest him, and Tristan's like, you understand, Doctor? I was just doing it to fund my research. And Doc's like, yeah. I guess the Doctor has no tolerance for drug smugglers.
Or maybe he just has no tolerance for scientists. Maybe the drug smuggling wasn't the real problem here.
Is he having flashbacks to his unit scientific advisor days? Oh man, we forgot to mention the line in City of Death when he turns to Duggan and is like, hey, want to be my scientific advisor? I think it was Duggan. I
don't remember that at all. Why would he ask Duggan to be his scientific advisor? He would just punch everything in sight.
So that's how the serial wraps up. The Doctor and Romana are going to go return all of the crystals to their natural habitats, which will require bypassing the randomizer, I might add. Again.
Stott and Della are reunited.
Yep. And it ends on a happy note. Ramonda's like, there's only one animal that belongs in an electric zoo.
But I don't think he wants to hear who it is. Canine.
Kana's like, affirmative. I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be implying that Canine was the one who was going to be in the electric zoo, or if they were like making an in-joke about the doctor being the one in the electric zoo. And they're like,
What?
in on it. I don't know, because that wouldn't make any
No,
sense.
it's definitely supposed to be canine. What are you even talking about?
But I don't know why Canine would respond affirmative when she says, I don't think he wants to hear it. Because like that would imply that Canine heard it.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't know the answer. Like, he heard the statement, but he doesn't really know what the answer is. He doesn't know
I
that it's
think he
him.
knows.
I think he knows, too.
So that's that. I guess between this serial and the next, they just go on a galaxy tour, returning all of these crystals to their home locations.
So this season is still surprisingly
Good.
good, yeah. I mean, this serial was kind of weird.
Very weird.
Plot was kind of stupid. Characters weren't exactly likable, but for some reason I found myself enjoying it.
I think because it was fun.
Like I do with a lot of Bob Baker / Dave Martin stories.
You mean
Anyway.
all of them except Underworld.
Underworld.
I mean, Dave Martin wasn't even involved in this one. It was just Bob Baker.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, last week we were like, oh, I can only guess that next week is going to just fall off the cliff. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a job for next week's serial. I still don't want to get my expectations too high that we can finally, after 17 seasons, have one season that just has all enjoyable serials. Which I don't think we've had. There's always been like one serial per season that was just like, this isn't exactly fun or good or enjoyable or whatever you want to say.
I mean, we came
about it.
close with the second Doctor's final season, but then we got the space pirates, and it just all fell apart. But I don't know. This serial had an exorbitant amount of technobabble. Not as much as City of Death, though. And at least in the serial, they didn't just use all that technobabble to get out of everything they put themselves, every trap they put themselves into.
But I think we mentioned this in Pirate Planet too. I think it was is that if you know what the stakes are, if the conflict itself doesn't entirely revolve around science fiction nonsense, then it's not something that you would exactly find problem with, because like here it's something very real world, like drug smuggling or something like that.
Oh yeah, like blatantly obviously real world. Like this is a really obvious allegory for drug smuggling. Normally,
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say it's an allegory or it's a symbol or anything. But
I mean, it is. It's like really obvious.
It's
that he's
not,
trying to make a political point here.
but it's not like an allegory. It's literally drug smuggling.
I mean, yeah. But like he's obviously trying to make a political point here. Normally they're a little bit more subtle about it. I mean, unless you're Sarah Jane in what was it, Monster of Peladon?
I don't see how he's trying to make a political point. It's literally just, look, these guys are drug smugglers.
Yeah, his political point is drug smuggling is bad. That's a political point.
Everyone knows that.
I mean, not necessarily.
There's like one person who's like, wow, I don't agree with the moral.
Well, you have to remember it's a kids show. He's trying to tell kids that, hey, drugs aren't cool. You shouldn't do drugs. Like, a political point doesn't necessarily have to be aimed towards adults.
But
I mean, that's why they changed the name of the drug, right? Because they didn't want the drug smuggling to be seen as attractive to kids.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying, like, everyone knows it's bad. So
I know, and I'm saying not everyone knows. Because if you're a kid, you don't have that world experience yet.
No, you know. You know.
I don't think you do.
You know.
I think you're just making that assumption based on what you know.
You know.
I don't think you
Definitely.
do, especially not in the 70s. Like the 70s was before the internet, right? You have to
LSD,
consider that.
man.
You have to consider that too, right? That it's not as a connected world. Like
I think
I don't think drug smuggling was like as prominent in those days.
I think you're reading way too much into
I don't think
it.
I am. I think I'm just.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying.
you're reading way too much into it.
I'm just saying that I think he was
just saying.
definitely trying to make a political point, and that kids wouldn't know what drug smuggling is in the late 70s. I mean, unless their parents are like hippies, like smoked marijuana all day.
I think you're reading into it way too much.
I think you read into Armageddon Factor too much.
I didn't take anything out of Armageddon Factor.
Yeah, you
No
did.
morals, no nothing. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, you did. Email us at thedoctor@decorative.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters, drug smuggling ideas. Check us out on YouTube at Trust Your Doctor. Check us out on iTunes at Trust Your Doctor. Leave a rating if you like the show. And yeah, be sure to check out the website.
Check us out on Facebook. Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook. Also check us out on Twitter, TOD Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. And next week, we try not to hope that the serial will be good, lest we're disappointed when we watch Horns of Nimon.
Nimon.
We shall see. We've been wrong in the past, but until then, the end.